This is essentially the Persist business model. For the most part, we form the idea and then bring that idea out. What does an idea need to become a true organization? It needs a CEO who's going to help put all these pieces together and direct these pieces. Persist provides all of this, the mentorship, graphics, web development, app development if it needs it, SEO services, we have an ad team, we have PR, we have marketing tactics. It requires the CEO to really drive these things in the right direction though, right? He's the one who understands, or she, we don't judge, whatever they are. And they can essentially go, put this together. What else does the company need? It needs capital to run. People got to get paid here. Persist might get paid back based on the model. And then we need employees who are going to help drive more of the internal business needs as it expands outside of what Persist provides as a foundation. We also then, as a model, go look for that CEO, help find the capital, and help find the employees through our processes. With the house that we're doing, we'll be able to have just a direct content vertical where it's going to be finding these people out in the field. We'll be pitching ideas, putting them out there, saying who would like to take on this idea. That'll drive us applicants here. We'll pitch the ideas. We'll have the pitch deck made, brought out to possibly bring capital in to make that and kickstart it to become a real thing. We're focusing on building businesses behind the ones that get funded, of course. They have much higher potential. It's just the kickstart fund for the beginning, and then going out after raising the seed and after there's development, as long as the organization is producing, that's when you go out Series A. Keeping tabs on the CEO, making sure they're working. We have deliverables for them, have them on a vesting agreement to make sure none of the company ownership is given till it's proven that they've put in the time and effort necessary. And then, of course, we'll be vetting them to make sure that that's their plan anyways. But you never know, and we're protecting ourselves through the vesting agreement. I'd like to turn this whole idea into an animation of the model. So if we can get that done by Surjit would be good. He's one of our best guys in terms of animation, I'd say. That goes directly into sort of our marketing, is a lot of the videos are used for marketing, but that's another thing that Persist provides, is some video editors in-house. Unless it needs its own full-time video editor. What's cool about this is one web developer that you would hire for a company normally, they only need to spend a very small amount of time long-term actually upkeeping the website for most businesses. It's not a long-term thing that you need a web developer on staff. So there's a large time cost normally for any business not doing this model of finding that web developer, trusting them. We've already verified and have trusted people on board who we knows works good. And then the payment, by paying salary, it's a much better price than the contractual work that a new business will normally have to spend for these different things. So the animation can help show all of this coming together, creating the organization. The idea is taken. These are the parts that make the idea into a real organization, and that turns that organization into creating value and returning money at the end of the day. So a few more notes on this topic. The animation can be done in different ways. I'd like that sort of spearheaded. I think another good idea that we do here is take this model of just speaking. It's very simple and easy, drawing on the whiteboard, and having those ideas. We might need a new full-time person who just is really good at developing ideas. I'd say this is something that I'm good at, but it's something that I need to delegate out and find someone else who is good at too. This one can be overseas because it's all digitally done. Then have that person, like what I normally do now, but need someone else to be able to do, is wireframing the pitch deck. And that just means putting onto each of the slides more of the idea, getting some of the graphics and content to sort of have a demo or bring more of the idea to life and make it more visually appealing. And then we send that to the graphics guy just overall to revamp the entire pitch deck to make it beautiful and really digestible. It's possible in the future we just do some of the pitches as videos in front of the whiteboard with the new CEOs. We can see how they pitch it and have them talk about themselves, because that is a big proponent of each business. The person who's driving the ship, the glue who is putting these pieces together, Very important. This is a very big thing that we have to do correctly, is finding those correct CEOs to put into that place. Now, to me though, that doesn't mean someone who's like established, who's ran big businesses before. I really love the young people out there who have great minds, who just need to be put to the test, who have a big vision or a goal for their lives, but they just don't know where to put their energy. They need the foundation. A lot of people just need the foundation and structure and other resources, because there's such a huge time cost of learning this to start with, of recruiting these initial things just to get off the ground. The CEO is more of the visionary and director of the entire pieces, right? And so by having them able to focus on being that director, rather than having them focus on going and recruiting and finding their own mentor every time, which they will long term, but having them go find that good graphics artist to do that thing, the good web developer to do that, the app development to get this done, a good SEO person. These are all things where there's just a range of people in the workforce who are good, who are bad. Contractual is higher cost, and that's really the model here, and why Persist then takes a good ownership in the idea, and have a vest for the CEO, as we're also helping them get to the capital stage. These two can sometimes be different. Sometimes we find the CEO for the idea first, and then we'll have them continue going out in the field and raising the capital. Sometimes the capital comes first, and the capital then tells us, okay, we need to spend more of Persist time really phoning and finding that CEO. It's funded. Now we just got to put the person at the helm of the ship, make sure, put them through our process, train them, give them our mentorship, and then they're off to the races in terms of putting the organization together and getting to distribution stage. That's another thing that's just super important, is the distribution, right? The foundation building is one key, but the big key is getting users and people to use it. And that's another thing that Persist is continuing to expand on in our own vertical, is from doing this house and having our own traction in terms of videos. We're gonna put out content of finding the CEO, of talking about the idea, and of growing our own subscriber base and people base who are already watching the idea come from the seed to the growth of the tree and following the story. So I think that long term, we can get to a point where any business that goes on Shark Tank is instantly $1 million business because of their platform. It's just instant distribution. So in that same sense, that's where I see us getting to, is that any business we're really choosing to put through our network is that we have enough people seeing it where it's becomes 10 times easier to find the CEO, to garner capital under it, even doing crowdfunding, to have all the people watching really be involved in the process and understand it, and even employees who will work for that business. And then customers. The customers come from that. It's not in this graph, but that's something that comes out of having an established organization with marketing and ads. I think if we do an animation here, this can be really powerful in terms of understanding how the whole business is run.